Oh good, we're doing this again. I don't know why I do this to myself. Honestly, I guess being an artist is pretty mentally taxing. And after finishing a whole bunch of work, it's nice to do something mindless and repetitive that still feels like I'm accomplishing something. Last time I made a palette video, I had just bought one of these Meeden metal folding box style palettes for the first time. I used these weird little jeweler's pliers and managed to fit 62 colors into the 48 color box. That's great, but that's not even half of my watercolors. Because I have a serious problem. Like, call Dr. Drew. I need an intervention. I just love watercolors, and over the decade that I have been watercoloring, I have accumulated a ton of paint. What I have not accumulated is a sense of organization or a magical rack that holds all of this crap. It's scattered all over my studio, and these plastic palettes suck. They don't have lids, they accumulate dust, the paint daubs fall off, and my cat probably eats them. So these plastic palettes are basically garbage, and I need something that closes up and keeps said cat from walking across them and then walking across whatever I'm working on and leaving little Prussian blue paw prints all over my paintings. Yeah, that seriously happened the other day. I mean, look at this disaster. Can you imagine it doing that in your bag? What a mess. So, we're back here doing this shit again. This is the only kind of palette that I like, and I have tried them all. I have a giant porcelain palette that I spent a small country's GDP on, and all it does is accumulate cat hair and take up half my desk. I had a sealed palette that became a petri dish. I have tried most of the plastic palettes on the market right now, and they all suck. There isn't a single one that isn't just glorified trash. But these metal boxes are really nice. They have a stupid thumb ring on the back that I'm never going to use because after I fill this thing with paint, it will weigh so much that holding it by my thumb will aggravate my carpal tunnel so badly I won't be able to wipe my own butt. So now that I've told you how much I love these boxes, it's time to fill it with paint. I have some extra pans that I filled the last time I made one of these boxes, and they wouldn't fit in the first one. So now it's time for them to move into their new home. Oh, come on. Oh, great. Dude, you broke my big screen TV. There we go. Okay, one paint. All right, got it. All right. Why aren't any of these working? Come on, this is gonna be so cool. Oh, this thing is broken. Oh, crap. Well, okay, whatever. Here's your junk. This is a statement about modern art. This is the size of truck it takes to get all my paint out of my studio. Oh no. It's a tailgate party. Oh yeah, best tailgate party. Why are these people getting moved in ambulances? I don't know. Get out. What does a motorhome like this even sound like? We're probably like more like a farting noise, right? Like. Bye. Okay. This is a dream come true right here. Oh yeah. You ready for this? You ready? Oh. Oh, hell yeah. Oh. Come on. You ruined. Oh, it only goes one way. Shoot. Come on. Okay, go. Oh. Come on. You know what? You're ruining everything right now. There we go. There you go. Totally ruined. Ruined everything. Goodbye. Get out of here, Douglas. All right. Here we go.
Your dream's coming true. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dump truck full of paint.
So anyway, I'm going to fill the new box with the extra pans I filled last time, and I'm going to fill the rest of the empty pans that I just got with some of my favorite Holbein and Winsor & Newton colors. I think Winsor & Newton make really good palette staple colors, even though they're not flashy, so I always keep them around. I plan to use both of these large boxes to store all of my pans, but I don't actually use all 120 something colors in these pans. I prefer to set up a limited palette when I start painting, and use no more than about 6 colors, up to 12 for accents and small details. I think this helps balance a painting better, but it's too tempting to start sticking my brush in a bunch of colors if I have them out in front of me. Okay, that sounds kind of bad, but you get it. The smaller box, as advertised, holds 12 half pans or 6 full pans. I had no problems at all fitting 21 half pans into it, and I don't know what else you would do with that space in the middle. I have never seen stores stocking paintbrushes with handles that small on a regular basis, and my Matchbox cars won't fit in it, so it's of no use to me if it doesn't hold paint. Here we go. We're going to be here until 2018, probably. So I've already swatched all the colors that I put into the extra pans, and now I am going through my yellow tubes and discarding any that have already been panned. I'll take the tubes that are left and swatch all of them, then decide which yellows I still want to put into my palette. While you're doing this, just like last time, make sure that you don't clearly label anything so you can make this very confusing for yourself. It's so much more fun if you have to redo this 3 times for each set of colors. I would guess that I probably have between 16 and 20 tubes of each color family on hand, just between Winsor and Holbein. Hopefully you don't have that many different colors to choose from, because it does make choosing just a few yellows really difficult, and that's ultimately why I had to get a second box. Generally speaking, it's a good idea to have a cooler yellow, a warmer yellow, a transparent, a staining, and a non-staining in your palette. But we'll talk about that another time. I finally figured out that it would be a lot easier if I put empty pans into the box and then filled them, but this ended up being a totally moot point later on when my new metal box broke and I had to rearrange all that wet paint anyway. I'm sure I really impressed all the other parents when I picked my son up from school with paint all over my hands and smeared on the end of my itchy nose. Can we fast forward here? Alright, here we go. This is reds. We're going to do all the same stuff all over again. And again and again. So I'm doing the same thing that I did the first time I made one of these boxes. I'm writing the brand name on one side of the pan and the color name on the other side. When the pans start getting low, I'll want to refill them with the right color. Plus I keep a journal of painting notes and I write down color palettes that I really like or combinations of color that yield unexpected results or just look really cool together. If you don't have a journal for your notes, you're shooting yourself right in the foot. It took me a long time to finally start doing this, but it's nice because I can write things down, and when I think about a painting that I really liked, I can flip through my journal and remember what techniques or colors I was using. I even have little tabs that say things like sky, clouds, water, plants, etc., with notes on how I painted all of those things previously and color combinations that made things look just so much more realistic or captured a really eerie feeling that I wasn't expecting to get. I know that this is what you're all here for. You just like to watch me fill all these little pans up with tubes of paint. I'm honestly still very surprised at the reaction that the first video I made of this particular palette process received. I enjoy watching watercolor palette videos myself, but I really didn't expect that to be my most popular video by far. But these videos are a lot of fun to make, and I guess making palettes is kind of a guilty pleasure. You don't want to waste your paint, so you don't want to just make these all the time, but it's still so nice, and it feels like all kinds of possibilities are ahead of you when you have a new palette. Some of these tubes are really old. I've been using some of these for like 10 years, and they were about halfway dried up. So you might want to check on your paint if you have some older ones. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do with this little box, because it's become clear to me at this point that my plan of having 2 large boxes full of paint and then a little box with some colors in it that I'm currently using wasn't going to work. My plan was to keep the little box mostly empty unless I was actually painting, but I still have too many colors and too many pans for that to work out. I have to put them somewhere. So for now, this little box is holding extra colors, especially since, for some reason, at this point, I can't get the pans to fit into the center of the large box like they did last time. So now I have some really excruciating decisions to make. I have a lot of greens and a lot of neutral colors, and only a little bit more space to put them. So I am swatching things and being very brutal and ruthless in my elimination of different colors. And later on, I will probably get yet another large folding box in order to hold more pans, because I'm not done buying watercolor paints. I mean, let's be serious. There's so many brands that I've never even tried. So of course I can't stop now. I have to buy all of them and I have to try all of them. At this point, I have just 5 slots left for pans to fit into. So I have to pick 5 colors out of all of my grays and all of my browns, which is really difficult. All right, so while I've been working on my palette here, something terrible has happened. So in this box, there was just enough room that I could squeeze half pans in here if I turned them sideways. There was not enough space in this pan, or this box, to do that. What that meant was that whoever put this one together did not space the little metal rails the same way as the person who put this one together. And that's okay, except that it means that I made this whole video about turning it into a 62 color palette, and you might not be able to do that if you have the same box. And then on top of that, I bought another one thinking I could do the same thing, and I can't. But that's not all. Okay, here's the problem. Whoever did this clearly didn't know how to do the riveter, right? How to run a rivet machine or whatever. So I was working on this, and I was doing my whole thing where I was trying to push this apart in order to fit more pans in here, and it just fell off. And I don't know. I mean, I can't put it back together. I've tried. You can't just push it back in. You need a riveter. So, and I don't have a riveter. So guess what? I think I'm going to try to take this one loose as well and scoot it back. I don't know. I have a lot of feelings right now, and they're not all good feelings. They're kind of bad feelings. And it's weird because it feels like this one is also not riveted together properly. But then this one's on there, you know? Like, why? And then what am I going to glue it together with? I don't really usually glue metal, so this is kind of weird. Like, you know, I do a lot of frame restoration, and I glue, you know, like plastics and woods and resins and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know if I have... Oh, well, that came right off. Okay, Jesus. Well, it sort of came right off. Okay, it kind of fell apart too, but whatever. I don't know. I mean, a lot of companies make this same box, and I wonder, you know, because this one was $20, give or take a couple bucks. A lot of companies sell these for like 40, 50, 60 bucks, and it looks like the exact same box. And it kind of makes me wonder if it is the same exact box and they're all just reselling it, or if some of these boxes might be higher quality than other ones. I don't know. And I don't really want to spend, you know, 70 bucks on a metal box. So I don't know if we'll find out. Well, that's all I need right there. See? This is how you're supposed to make them. My grandmother did a lot of folk art when I was a kid, and she actually taught me to paint. And we would do craft projects and things, and this was like the only glue we ever had because it glues everything, right? Supposedly. It says it will glue metal. And I have never tried that. So, let's try it. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll actually apply the glue to these, set a timer for 10 minutes, and then push them on, right? And there we are. Isn't it beautiful? There's something so satisfying about a palette that's arranged in something sort of like rainbow color order. Okay, it's not, but whatever, who cares? So anyway, now we're gonna do the chart. So I'm using an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of watercolor paper that I have clearly already drawn something on the back of and used it to swatch colors, so that's optional. You don't have to do that. You can use a clean piece of paper, which is what I'm gonna do now. And I'm actually just going to use the one that I made before since it's the exact same size, but it's pretty easy to use your palette lid as a template, and I did that in the first video. So if you want to watch that to see what I did, you should watch that video. Does that make sense? Whatever. Anyway, I draw a little grid, and now I'm going to write all the names of all the colors on the little grid, so I know what color is where, because again, when you're referring to your notes and it says, you know, pick Windsor lemon and there's 14 lemons in the box, you got to figure out which lemon is the lemon that you want a lemon with. I think swatching is the second best part of making a new palette, right after filling all of those little pans. I like seeing all the colors and knowing what's in the box and thinking about how those colors would go together. So now I'm going to add a little tape to the back, and I'm going to tape it into the lid so it will stay there whenever I open the box. And now I could just look at my color chart and I can see what colors are in this box. And here they are side by side, and I accidentally made them backwards from each other, but I'm sure that'll work out somehow, right? Here's that little baby one too that's just holding some greens and neutrals right now. Eventually we'll do something better with this. It deserves better than that. And there we go. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you for being weird like me. Subscribe if you liked it. Bye.